If you feel like most of your conversations with women you're dating like become boring, they become flat, they feel somewhat like a job interview, right? And you follow this pattern of question, answer, right? And you often then run out of things to say, right? This video is for you, bro, right? And also this video is for you, like the more you like her, the more you get stuck in your head, right? You're trying to say the right things, you try to make her feel good, you're trying to like impress her, right? But the more you try, the more awkward it gets, right? Because I've been there myself, bro, but I have spent over a decade becoming more playful, and it's helped me to attract the most amazing women and also keep them hooked, because that is the most difficult part. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create playful conversations using the most mundane topics like talking about the chores or like, how did you sleep? What did you do today, right? So you finally stop losing the woman that you find attractive and start becoming the man that like no woman would ever want to leave, because they are so emotionally connected to you. Now, believe it or not, but playful conversations are a result of two things, yeah? Great communication skills, yeah, for sure, and what I call your inner frame. So I'll focus on both today, obviously, but we're gonna start with inner frame. Inner frame stands for how you think of yourself around women you find attractive, right? And there are fundamentally two types of inner frame, which I'm obviously going to explain to you now, right? So up until I was 25, I had what I call a Kevin frame, which is one type of inner frames, yeah. And every time I met a woman I found really attractive, and I developed feelings for her, something in me changed, yeah. My emotions became anchored fundamentally to her actions. Like I never forget, like I once dated this girl like Marie, who was exactly my type. And I noticed the more I liked her, yeah, the more I filtered myself on dates. I literally stopped teasing her because I didn't want to upset her. Like once we went to this wine bar and she asked me like, oh, what do I think of vegans and a specific type of movie? And obviously instead of saying like vegans are mentally ill, right, which is my true opinion, I said I don't really have an opinion on that because, yeah, I didn't want to be politically incorrect, right? I didn't want want her to feel like I'm not attractive. Or when she told me about her day, that she worked on a financial like valuation all day, and instead of calling her my sexy nerd, right, or like annoyingly cute nerd, which I used to do when I met her, right, I was a total Kevin, yeah, because of my total Kevin inner frame, and I became super serious and I became like super logical only. I was like, oh, how did the valuation go? How was the modeling? Are you feeling all right about it? And then I asked, oh, how was the day? Good, and yours? And then we went back and forth between this question answer kind of theme, right? And bro, that's not attractive, right? And worse, like after like 6 months or so, right? I went to Dubai, and while she stayed in London, and while I was in Dubai, bro, she left me on red once, and I totally freaked out. And I associated being left on red with like a monumental threat to my life, and because of that, I fucking freaked out. I came up with all these random thoughts like, oh my gosh, she's going to leave me. She's too good for me. She's cheating and all of this bullshit, bro, And it turned out, man, like she was actually just in a meeting and couldn't respond immediately. Just read my message and then she got dragged into a meeting. Because I was so anxious all the time, I lost the ability to be nonchalant, to be carefree, and to detach from like what she thought of my responses. Everything became anchored to her response, to her impression of me. And I lost my ability to be witty and charming because my inner frame was that of a Kevin, as I said, instead of the second inner frame that I talked about earlier, which is the Hercules frame. Like she eventually obviously left me. So why did she leave me? Obviously because I wasn't the attractive man that she met, bro. Like her loss of attraction to me was directly related or correlated to my loss of like wittiness and like the complete collapse of my Hercules frame. Because you gotta understand that one of a woman's prime desires is the desire for adventure and having fun. But I completely lost the ability to provide her that because I was so fucking tense, And I know right now you're like, oh bro, just give me the fucking techniques, right? Like just tell me what to say. But like, bro, like believe me. So like I can give you all the lines, I can give you all the techniques, but like memorizing those lines, memorizing those techniques and learning them and studying them without developing this Hercules frame, this strong inner frame, whilst being stuck in this Kevin frame, that's just gonna make you overthink even more. Like if you look at Ronaldo or Messi, for example, right? They are some of the greatest penalty takers in the world, and they still miss penalties sometimes. Why? Because did they suddenly lose their ability to like play football? No, bro. Like the atmosphere, the fans, they got to them, right? They got nervous. And that nervousness translates into tension, which blocks their ability to perform. That's why they miss a fucking penalty. So I want to show you right now like how you can remove that tension, right? So there are basically two parts to this, physiological and psychological. Like physiological represents your body, right? And the psychological one, well, that is your fucking brain and the mind, right? And body and mind are interconnected. And I'm going to start with the physiological part. So the best thing that we can do in order to like calm down the physiological part of you and your frame is to breathe consciously. Look, man, when I first learned about this, like I thought like breathing exercises, bro, like are you fucking kidding me? Like stop with this hippie bullshit. Until it actually fucking saved me before like a date. So I went on a date with this like fit girl with like massive melons, right? Which is exactly my type. And for some reason, I was very nervous. I'm gonna like, and nothing could really calm me down. I was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna try this fucking hippie shit. My ex recommended, Katie. And bro, I did just like 10 rounds of it. Like my anxiety disappeared. My mind stopped like going crazy. And I felt this weird sensation of like inner peace. Like I was actually relaxed, man. And then I went on a date and I had one of the fucking best dates ever. She actually became my girlfriend. Her name was Tilina. So the specific technique, obviously, that I just mentioned is super simple. Like it's fundamentally like a 4-7-8 approach. So you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 7 seconds, and then you exhale for 8 seconds. And like you do that for 10 minutes, and that completely relaxes your entire nervous system, your entire body. And once your nervous system is finally relaxed, right? Like once you do this breathing on a regular basis and you're calm on like internally, that's when you can finally use like your rational mind, right? To prevent the tension in the future of coming up as well. And we can do this by doing what I call a responsibility technique. Now, when you look at the word responsibility, or what does it say? The responsibility is actually like not one, but 2 words. Response and ability. This means like when you switch the words, you can see it says ability to respond. And that is like a thing that most men never develop. They just react to an impulse or like an emotion they feel. And I had this conversation with a client of mine who recently joined my program. And he said like he always becomes the emotion that he feels. When a girl does not text back, turns into a fucking toddler. Like anxious behavior, such as looking for reassurance, like sending her text messages, sharing how great she is and how beautiful she is, because he's so scared of losing her. He completely gives up his frame, like his entire inner frame just collapses, right? And that is a textbook Kevin frame, as I said earlier. He has zero ability to respond. Responsibility, that's fundamentally the process of noticing the trigger, which is insecurity, feeling the reaction, which is tension or seriousness, but then instead of reacting and giving into that emotion or feeling that you're experiencing, you take a deep breath and then choose how you want to respond to the situation. And I'm going to give you like a real example like from my life. So I was dating this model, right? And like literally like people were turning their heads like when I walked around with her. Like it was almost like annoying because she was so hot. And like one day we were at a beach, I'll never forget that because it was so intense for me. Like, and she was in a bikini, you know, everybody was looking at her, she was stretching. I noticed like getting completely anxious and going completely wild in my head. And in that moment, I took a breath, right? It's like, breathe out. And then I asked myself, like, what happens if I stay in this fucking anxious state, bro? Like, I'm gonna be weird, I'm gonna be serious. And that's when I made a choice. I stopped entertaining these thoughts and I started like consciously to be playful. And I walked over to her and I don't really remember the exact words that I said, but it was something along the lines of like, you know what's annoying about you? Like, you make every other person on this beach look like a fucking potato. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself. You know, I said it with a smirk and a smile, right? And she absolutely loved it. It's a specific technique that I'm actually going to teach you in just a second. And once you combine breathing with responsibility, bro, you're killing it. Then you have a Hercules frame, and once you have this Hercules frame, we can actually focus on what to say, how to be playful. We can finally like learn to deploy the techniques. And I'm going to show you 3 of those exact techniques right now that make conversations fun and keep her engaged. So let me start with the first one, which I already touched on earlier, which is called push and pull. Anyways, like remember what I said to the model from the beach, yeah? You know what's annoying about you? You make every other person on this beach look like a fucking potato. You should be ashamed of yourself. So let's break this down so that you understand why this is actually so sexy for women and why you should be making this like a day-to-day tool in your like toolbox, yeah? When you interact with women. So the push is like the part where I say, you know what's actually annoying about you? Like there I'm creating the illusion of pushing her away, right? Which creates a little bit of tension, which makes it seem like I'm about to criticize her, but then I create a curveball by using the pull. Yeah. The pull is, you make everyone look like a potato. Like I'm pulling her back in with a compliment, but framing it in a playful, teasing way. Why is this so sexy? Like a lot of guys often mistake this like with manipulation, but it's complete bullshit, bro. Like push-pull or flirting is just the art of conversation. When Hollywood creates a movie, like there's a setup and then there's a plot twist. Push-pull is the same. Setup, plot twist. What is manipulative about this? Now, why do women find this so attractive? Because it creates an emotional contrast. It covers both sides of the emotional spectrum, such as her being annoyed, as well as being like feeling desired and valued. Like you gotta understand that women are attracted to men who can make them feel something, yeah? Not just like one flat emotion, like, but a range of emotions. It's the same with fucking movies. You wouldn't watch a movie that's just flat. So when you create that contrast in the context of dating, you're stimulating her like emotionally. You keep her engaged and you make the interaction like memorable. Typical Kevin frame who would just say, oh, you're so beautiful today. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're so gorgeous. Man, she's heard it 1,000 times, man. There's nothing wrong with complimenting a woman once in a while, man, but do not make it a habit. It's too flat, it's too generic. What I want you to do right now is, because I want to keep it practical, I want you to like take out your phone or like your notepad or whatever right now and then write down like 3 push-pull compliments you could use on your like next date or with your current girlfriend, whatnot, right? The format is like, you know what, plus negative word about you, and then positive statement about her, for example. You know what, you're annoyingly cute, but I think you might become actually my favorite ex-wife, you know that. Yeah. So those are like typical, that's a quick, easy examples. With that being said, let me show you like the second technique, which I call cooperative teasing. But there's a difference between like toxic teasing and playful teasing. Toxic teasing is that you tease like at her, yeah? You're making fun of her. You're like being a dick to her. Cooperative teasing is basically you're like teasing with her. You're like both in on the joke, right? You're playing it like together. And what I love about like cooperative teasing is that it can literally be used in like everyday situations, not just like big moments or special moments like a date. Like, let me show you what I mean actually with this, because right now you might be thinking, what the fuck is this guy on about, right? So I was dating this girl, Pamela, for example, who worked in finance. And I do have a thing for finance girls apparently, because actually when I look back, like a lot of my girls were bankers. But anyways, different story. So anyway, so this Pamela, she texted me one day saying that she was stressed about working on financial valuations, right? And she needed a hug because, yeah, she needed oxytocin, right? When you hug someone, it releases oxytocin, by the way, which is a bonding hormone. Anyway, so as a Kevin, you would have responded like, oh, you're so, like, I'm so sorry you're stressed. I'm here for you. Is there anything I can help you with? Boring. It's so boring, bro. You're just trying to comfort her, like, which is great once in a while, but if over time that just becomes boring again, one of the biggest mistakes men make when they find a woman attractive. Become too predictable, too boring, they stop teasing. So here's what I said, actually using a cooperative tease. So I said, like, careful, like, Pamela, can you stop throwing around all these sexy nerd words? Like, I'm not sure, like, we both can handle that together, you know? See what I'm doing there, man? Like, I'm teasing her about the word, like, oxytocin, like, in the text, calling her a sexy nerd, so I associate oxytocin with sexy nerd. But I'm doing it in a way that is clearly playful and flirty, right? I'm not making fun of her, but instead I'm creating, like, a fun dynamic with the two of us. We're both in on the joke, right? It's like both of us are attracted to that nerd language. Now, the most important thing here is like you need to like not only learn the lines, but you also have to, like, the energy behind it has to be like light, playful, yeah? Like you have to mean it. Like if you do not like mean what you say, it comes off as fake. Like, I'm not using lines. It's like playfulness is my identity. Now, with that being said, let me give you an exercise for cooperative teasing so that you can do this right now, right? I want you to write down like 3 accusations you could use on a woman you're talking to, right? And you can use the specific format I'm going to show you right now. You can say, are you trying to, and then seduce me right now with behavior X, Y, Z. Now, look, man, if you're sitting here thinking, I don't know if I can come up with all these things in these moments, I totally get that. Been there myself. A lot of my clients have been there as well. And that's exactly why I work with my clients through like role plays on our calls, right? We practice these kind of teasers, this playfulness, like in real time. We have specific sessions for that. I give you feedback, you know, and we drill this into you until it becomes natural, until it becomes like your identity. Because the difference between like knowing a technique and being able to use it in the moment, that is fundamental to close that gap. Practice. Skill is a result of action, not aspiration, bro. With that being said, let me show you the third technique, which is one of my favorites as well, which is cold read. Cold read is basically when you make an assumption about her personality based on like something small, like the way she talks, you know, oh, high intonation, her energy, like a lot of hand movements, or like chilled and lean back, or like, you know, something like that, or anything she does. And you fundamentally use this like as an opportunity to read her mind. Now, bro, I got so good at this that like on a date, and a girl said like after 10 minutes, like, oh, how do you know me so well? Like, you can describe me as if you'd known me for years. My friends would describe me the way you describe me. Now, why is this so attractive? Because it creates intrigue. It shows you're actually paying attention to who she is, not only what she just looks like. And it makes her feel like you get her, you know? Like in a way that most guys would never fucking get her. And the second most beautiful thing about cold reads is they're actually quite of a lazy way of conversation, because you don't have to think of the next question. I'm going to give you an example. I was on a date with a girl who was very particular about her outfits, right? Like she had this all black outfit, like and very like a black dress, very nice dress, heels, and even a black purse, right? And I just said, oh, it sounds like you have a very deep soul. Like just like that, just the deep soul. Black I associated with deep soul. And she said like, oh wow, how did you know that? Like, observed something small, which is her outfit, and made an assumption about, or using her outfit about her personality. Like, and the beautiful thing about like cold reads is like, it's not that you have to be right. It's like it doesn't fucking matter if you're right or wrong. Like, because even if you're wrong, she'll correct you, and she'll tell you more about herself, which again gives you more material to work with and keeps the conversation going. 2 weeks ago, I went on a girl who's like really into fitness, and she said like, yeah, I love going to the gym, blah blah blah. Kevin Frame would be like, oh cool, like what kind of workouts do you do? Which is a boring interview question. You could say something like, let me guess, you're the type who actually enjoys like early morning workouts, gets annoyed when people complain about the gym. You probably prep meal preps on Sundays too, and you have like a biohacking routine, right? See how this is way more engaging, and obviously girls love this. Like, oh no, I'm doing X, Y, Z, right? It's a human need to correct others and be seen in a specific way that is aligned with our identity. Now, obviously, you might be wondering, okay, how do I come up with cold reads in the moment? You know, so the easiest way that I teach my clients is like, when she tells you something about herself, just ask yourself, right? Not ask her, but yourself, like 3 questions. Number 1, what does it say about her personality? Like, if she loves like crime and thriller podcasts and novels, that usually is an indicator that she's wild, she loves suspense, and she's a bit kinky. Because crime and thriller like movies are usually like full of suspense and curveball. She's into fitness. What does it say about her personality? Disciplined, competitive, potentially judges people who are like not fit. All of those things you can just assume. The second question is, what other behaviors would someone like this actually have? And then the third question is like, what's a playful exaggeration I can make about her? I know, like a girl in finance loves working behind a spreadsheet. That's a nerd activity. But when she's good looking, you could say, oh, she's a sexy nerd. Now, man, you've got the skills to stop losing women in early stages, right? Now, the next question is obviously, how do you keep her attracted long term once you're actually like together? And we're going to break that down in this next video.